And you should feel the energy outside the studio. In the studio at next year at Citi FM, the energy is on a completely different level. And you can understand, and you have to understand. I mean, it's not every day you have Asamoah Gyan Baby Jet in your studio. It's not every day you have Ghana's captain in your studio. It's not every day you have the man who scored the highest number of goals for the Black Stars in your studio. It's not every day that you have the African who has scored the highest number of goals in the World Cup in your studio. It's not every day that you have someone like Baby Jet to celebrate in your studio.
No way, 'cause you turn me on, you bring me joy, you make me go.
And for me, it is a real pleasure to have him in the studio. Asamoah, I don't even know how to start that, Charlie. You're welcome first.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How are you? I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Is the biggest question.
Everything is fine. I'm great. Everything is fine.
Tell you, I try my best here. Why, Shata?
Will you try?
If Shata catch you, you go finish it.
We are trying.
Asamoah, it's such a pleasure to have you in the studio. And first of all, congratulations on your achievement this past weekend. 50 goals for the Black Stars. Like, how did it feel when that ball was coming through? You headed the ball, it went off the chest of the player into the, how did you feel?
It was something I was waiting for a long time. You know, after my 48th goal, I waited for like a year without getting to the 50th goal. You know, anytime I'm in town, like anytime Black Star plays, everybody will be telling me, hey, when are you getting your 50th goal and stuff, you know? So it kind of put a lot of pressure on me. You know, I always tell them the right time will come. That is what I always tell my people, you know. So and I always say, when I'm fit and there are no injuries, my fans should be rest assured, because God has blessed me with a lot of qualities that when I'm on the field, anything can happen at all. You know, I'm speaking confidently because I know what I have. And I didn't predict for everybody, but I predicted to my friends around me. I told them to print the shirt now,
because you just had that feeling.
Yes, I told them to print the shirt now, but the 50th goal is gonna happen. And
did you think it would happen at the time that it did? Because, you know, usually you warm up in the game a little, and then all of a sudden Sania will go.
That is what I always say. When I don't have injuries and I'm okay, you know, I always say anything can happen at all, you know. So I just need to be on the field. That is all I need. And I always pray to the Almighty God to keep me fit and then be on the field. So I think from club level, my last 7 games was very good, you know. So I declared myself that I'm okay now, you know. So when I came, it was something I was telling them, just print the shirt. I'll do something on the day, and that is what everybody saw.
A lot of people feel that, you know, sometimes you play for the accolades, you play for, you know, oh, I've scored this number of goals and I've done this and I've done that. What motivates you? What gets you going when you wake up, you go to training, you step on the pitch? What gets you going, if not the numbers?
Yeah, it's strong mentally. That is what I always say. I'm strong mentally despite everything. And I always say no player has been criticized than me in Ghana in history.
You are a stronger champion.
Yeah, you know. So sometimes I always take it upon myself and then turn it around. It makes me more stronger. You know, when sometimes people say things that are not even true. You know, I just say, okay, let me turn it around. Let me show these people this is me. And as I always say, I'm a real guy. I'm very real. You know, I'm always me, and I'm somebody that listens. You know, so that is what I can say right now. I'm very strong mentally.
When people say all those things that they say, when people criticize you all those times, typically, like, you're a human being.
Yeah.
It will get to you.
Definitely.
Like, no matter how hard your shell is, it gets to you.
Yeah.
How sometimes you feel when you hear all these things, and like you said, how does it motivate you and push you to even want to do better?
Yeah, sometimes, you know, when people criticize me like unfairly, I just sit down and be like, okay, today is their day, tomorrow will be my day. You know, when I go on the field and I don't deliver and people talk, I'll say, okay, it's one of those things, because I might play like 3 games without scoring, they will say, "Oh, I'm the worst striker in the country," or "I'm the worst striker in the world." But as soon as I score, people will say, "Oh, I'm the best striker in." So that is the difference, you know. So sometimes I will say, "Okay, I didn't score today. Okay, tomorrow I'll make sure I score." You know, just to prove myself. So that is what keeps me. But I don't let these things get into me. You know, I always try to prove people wrong. And I know people are proved wrong, but they don't want to accept it.
But they will accept it.
But they will accept it.
Charlie, no, I'm feeling this man, Anyami.
Castro.
And for me, like, what I don't know how much of your resilience to all this pressure that comes in comes from where you grew up and how you grew up, and you know who the sort of people that you're playing football with and the people you associated when you were growing up. Because I'm sure, like, when you started, Charlie, that one too had its own competition and everything. How much of the resilience do you have today came from some of the things that you learned when you were coming up?
Yeah, you know, my brother paid the way back for Gyan. You know, he paid the way to me. You know, and that time people in the area didn't know I was a good player because I was always like a homeboy, like at home and then
quiet boy.
Yeah, quiet boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes people say, he's Dada B and stuff, you understand?
I mean, like I should hustle him.
Yeah, so I used to play like in front of our gate with my friends. But it was my brother that has been going out, the Kobolo type, you understand? It was my brother. Yeah, it was my other, because my brother, I always say, he paved the way for me. And the mistake that he did when he was playing, he made sure I didn't go through that mistakes, and that has brought me that far. And he's still my guardian angel. Like everything that I do is behind it, you know. So that was how I started. I started playing in this area ball. Four corners till we moved from Zongo Junction to New Bawi. Okay. That time New Bawi wasn't developed.
No,
it was like
forest.
Yeah, you know. So I was just there, and then the kids were playing. And I went to join them because I was new in the area. And then one guy was, and his name is Godwin Weku. He was a big grown-up guy, and he was playing, and he saw the talent, and he was like, okay, I have to form a team because the boys are good. So he formed the team name, and he named it United Kingdom Babies. UK Babies.
Are you serious?
Yeah, UK Babies. I think that was my first club that I played.
Wow. UK Babies.
Yeah, UK Babies. It was like under
a small London.
Under 10. Under 10.
Wow.
So that's how I started. So I got to the coast level, and I played for Mighty Victory. And after Mighty Victory, there were a lot of misunderstanding between the officials of the club, and then the club divided into two, and then they formed CDAP's Babies. You know, so I went to the CDAP side because Sly Tete, may so rest in peace. He was at the other side, so I had to just go because he was managing my older brother at that time. So I always took.
Charlie, when the older brother goes,
I took it upon myself. He's my manager by force.
That's all.
You understand? So that was how I started. I played for CDAPs, and then I went to the Liberty Academy. That time, I was in Accra Academy at that time. You know, so that was how I discovered my talent. Like, hey, you can make it. You know, that was where I became very serious. Academically, I was good, but when I started taking the game serious, now I'm born wrong.
Well, if you have any questions for Asamoah Gyan, you can tweet at us or you can send us a WhatsApp message. Our number is 054.
But I was an average student, though.
Average student. We'll take it down. 0549986996. That's our WhatsApp number. You can WhatsApp us any questions that you have for Asamoah Gyan, or you can tweet us using the hashtag Traffic Avenue. You know, and on the education thing, people talk about how, you know, sometimes you have a talent, you're in school, the combination is difficult. How did you manage that process? And for young people doing the listening right now, what advice would you give them?
For example, when I was in SS2, that was when I had a chance to move to Europe. I went to Panathinaikos in 2001. You know, I was in SS2 at that time, and then that was the year the law came came up like if you're not 18 years, you're not gonna sign a professional contract. So I had to come back to continue. That was the end of my school. When I went there, I left school at SS2 and I went. Because of the law, I had to come back to complete.
Yeah.
If not, I wouldn't have come back.
Wow.
Yeah. So because of the law, I wasn't 18 to sign a professional contract.
Yeah.
So, and we all went for money. So because it didn't work, I had to come complete my school. So that was how I completed Accra.
Wow. Wow. And for students, for children, for young people who are listening to you right now, what would you advise them? How should they go about balancing that sort of situation?
Everybody knows education is the key. My mom was an headmistress. She was very strict on us, but it got to a time she also saw the talent. She was like, okay, you just complete the SS level for me, and then for you to be able to express yourself, read contracts and everything, to understand things, like to read books, and like everywhere you go, you can succeed, because at least when you complete the SS level, at least you can do something. So we all understood it, and then we took it upon ourselves. So my brother completed the SS level. That's Bafo Gyan. The one who comes after Bafo Gyan also completed the SS level, and me. So I didn't go to the university. We didn't go to the university. Yeah.
Because there was a career that you're following.
Yes, but I want to advise all the younger ones coming up. So if you discover your talent and you think and you are sure you can make it, just stick to your dream. But one thing is, education is the key. You have to make sure if you think you wanna go further with your education, and then maybe become a doctor or something, you can do it. But talking about the sports aspect, if you discover your talent and you believe you can make it, I don't think I'm not saying this, but for what I've seen, you cannot compare the two together. You cannot do the two together, to be going to university and then be playing a professional football. I think few players
are able to manage it.
But for me, you cannot do it.
You get to Europe, and it's a dream for a lot of young people, a lot of young players. Tell us about your journey in Europe.
Yeah, and I got to Europe in 2004. That was where I started my European professional contract career. In 2004 with Udinese. I arrived in January, and then I played for 6 months till the end of I think I went to the half of the season, January till June, and I didn't get enough time to enough playing time, so I had to be loaned to Modena. So when I went to Modena, I played my first season. It was very good, and then the second season was amazing. So from there, that was when I joined the team to the World Cup, in 2006. So after the World Cup, Udinese said, "Oh, the boy is there right now. He can." So I came back to Udinese, and I delivered, And after the second season, I think I played 3 games, and then I came to the African Cup of Nations, and that was where I had that injury.
Yeah.
So from there, that was where I signed for Rennes in France.
Yeah.
I even signed a contract on my hospital bed.
Wow.
When after the operation, that was when I signed the contract in Rennes, because they knew what I can do.
What you had to give.
Yeah. So I went there for the therapy and everything. So they took care of me.
Wow.
So I was okay.
Wow. Well, we are having a conversation with them.
And even they even followed me to Ghana for my treatment. Yeah, they sent one doctor to come to Ghana and then be with me.
I see.
And I remember that time, people saw me running on the beach and started to be fit.
Get your fitness back.
Yeah.
Wow. And so I mean, it looks like Rennes was sort of like the catapult, what really shot you up into the global limelight. And how was that? I mean, from where you'd come from, all of a sudden had all this attention around you, World Cup and all of that. How was that? How was that process for you?
I would say the national team has also played a very, very important role because I remember my first season in Rennes. I didn't get enough time because I just recovered from injury and I wasn't getting my form that I wanted, and so I wasn't playing. I scored I think 1 goal, just a goal, the whole of the season, and it was quite frustrating. And,
can you imagine?
I wasn't in the good terms with the coach, honestly, because he said a lot of things about me that I didn't like. He said, "Oh, why did you bring this striker?" And I don't think he can score 4 goals in League One.
Wow.
So I took it upon myself. I needed to prove him wrong. And so the following season, that was when Asamoah Gyan started.
I see.
From that second season, I think from 2009. So I took that form to the African Cup of Nations. I remember in one of the press conferences, I made a press conference and I said, last 2 years, that was in 2008, I wasn't fit, but now I'm fit, so I can deliver. That was when I think that was one of my best African Cup of Nations throughout the 6 African Cup of Nations that I played. All the African Cup of Nations I've been playing with injuries. So I think that was my best one. That was in 2010.
Wow, that's a revelation.
Yeah.
Almost all your African Cup of Nations, apart from that one, you've been playing with injuries, and yet you still continue to deliver consistently. Like I can imagine, like when you fall down and you scrape your knee, like it even hurts. Walking is a problem. Sometimes you go jogging because you want to stay fit, like it hurts. Playing with an injury, scoring the goals that you score all the time, consistently, like I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, that was why I said God has blessed me with a lot of qualities, because there are some strikers that depend on their heading ability. Some depend on they attacking maybe behind the defense and then penetrating, and some of the strikers have got maybe one quality or twice, but I think I've got most of the qualities. I can score with my head, I can score with my feet, I can dribble, I can curl, I can even give an assist, so there are a lot of things I can do when I'm on the field. That is why I said I'm blessed. So me in a game, for me scoring, I think I have no doubt, like maybe I should be like 100, I would say 95% in my head I know I'm gonna score.
You scored so many goals, 50 goals. I just want to ask you, which one is your favorite?
My favorite, I always talk about my first goal for the Black Stars. That was in 2003 against Somalia. I've scored a lot of incredible goals, and I scored one in Congo. It was a World Cup qualifier. I scored in Congo. It was a long ball from Lai Kingston, and I jumped with the defender, chested down. I saw the goalkeeper off his line, and then I volleyed behind him. I think that game was live in Ghana, but people have forgotten, but it's one of the goals that...
Was it because it was the first goal you scored for the Black Stars, or the manner in which you scored the goal?
I think it's because it was the first goal for me, because I was inexperienced. People spoke for me because they saw that talent in me when I was in Liberty Professional. So they were like, "Oh, why don't you give this boy a chance? We think this boy can do it." And then I was given a chance, and I was able to do it. And sometimes that is what I always advise these young boys coming. Like, if you are given a chance, you have to prove it. That is all I always tell my younger ones. Wait for your time. Wait for your time, and when you get a chance, just prove it. Because national team is very, very difficult to play consistently for our 10 years. So I think I'll be one of the guys that have been playing consistently over 10 years. And I think Andre is in his 10th year now. So you could see when he was also given a chance, he also proved it. So that was my advice I always give to the young ones.
When given the chance, take it.
Yes, you have to take it, because when you play like a normal, if you play like a normal player, we've got some old players who were playing like that. So if you don't do extraordinary, then I don't think maybe you can be in a team. This is what people don't understand.
And there's a lot of competition in the Black Stars all the time. But for me, I'm just wondering. So we've talked about your first goal, which was your favorite.
Yeah.
What was for you your best game in the Black Star shirt?
My best game?
Yeah.
That was the game against Congo. Nobody, like, people have forgotten that game, but it was one of my best games in the Black Star shirt. You know, although I had a couple of games, you know, I've played a lot of games. But I remember that game, it was like 60,000 packed. It was a free gate, and the place was packed, and Ghana was playing away.
The pressure was there. I was so young, and I wasn't even tired. Like, I was running all over the place. I was so energetic, and I think everything I was doing on the field was right. I didn't make mistakes, although nobody's perfect, but everything, even my touch was so good. Like, everything was going on well. It was almost like heaven had come down and
yes, I could have even scored the winning goal because it was 1-1. I think the last minute I had a great chance. I dribbled the goalkeeper, and then he saved it. You know, I should have scored the second goal. It was one of my best games. I was so satisfied with my performance despite the draw.
Despite the satisfaction, despite the goals, despite all the goodwill and everything, it got to a point where the pressure, I believe, got to you, and you walked away from the Black Stars. What influenced that decision, and why did you come back?
I didn't walk away from the Black Stars. You know, I think that time, talking about the penalty miss against Uruguay, and the following tournament again during the African Cup, I missed the penalty again against Zambia. So psychologically, it affected me a bit. And I'm somebody who is very, very strong, you know. But that particular one, the second one, got to me a bit. You know, as you said, I'm a human being. It got to me a bit. So me being mentally strong and something getting to me just like that, I just called the FA and I told them, listen. I wrote a letter to them and I said, listen, I'm not going away permanently. I just want to psych myself and then come back strong because I'm not well in my head. I'm not comfortable. You understand? I'm not feeling good right now. But I just want to move away for a bit. I'm not saying I quit. Just give me some time, and then I think some journalists took it in the wrong way, and they said I quit. You know, so it's one of those things.
When that penalty in the World Cup, I just want to know, like, what was the feeling like? We all saw your facial expression on TV. We all saw the other players, all the memes and everything that have gone on. But today, I just want you to describe to us what that feeling was like.
Yeah, I always tell people, if I didn't have scored the second one, I wouldn't have been sitting here right now. That would have been the end of my career because I couldn't do anything, and I was there and I was like, listen, be you. You know, so after the game I said, hey, I'm gonna take the first one. I'm gonna take the first one, no matter what. I'm gonna take the first one. I want to show people I'm an expert penalty taker. You know, so I just had to redeem myself for people to see, because I scored through a penalty in the first game. Yeah. That was in the 80-something minute. That goal was needed, and I was able to deliver. I scored against Australia. It was a penalty. You know, so the third one that I missed, I was like, okay, you scored two, you missed one, very, very important one, but show to people you can do it. So I had to step up and then take the first kick, and I scored. And I think when I moved to Sunderland, Steve Bruce confessed to me, the coach at that time. He said that was the reason why he signed me to Sunderland, because of that strong mentality. He just told me in my face, he was like, wow, you know why I signed you? And I said, why? And he said, you stepping up for the second one to take it. I know, I saw that man in you. And that is what he told me.
Talking about Sunderland, I mean, Ghana had not seen you like so happy in a team. Every goal you scored, the white people were trying to dance like you. Like, why did you leave?
I would say in my career, 2010 was my best year. Everything was going on well for me, and even I had to move into music, and the music was a hit.
We love the music.
And then even that time when we warming up, they used to play my song in the stadium for our warming up. It became something like a tradition. Every weekend they play the song.
Wow.
You know, so I was enjoying Sunderland. Sunderland was like, the fans were amazing. I had a great 1 year with Sunderland. You know, I should have continued, but that is football. I had to move to the UAE. Criticism there, here and there, but hey, that's me.
Was it a difficult decision to leave Sunderland?
Yes, it was a difficult decision. You know, because as a professional player, when you're doing well, definitely you'll be approached by clubs, and that time Alain made the offer, and it was the offer was very huge. So I had to consult with my friends, my mom. I remember my mom, may her soul rest in peace. I called my mom one night and I was like, Mom, I'm confused. I don't know what to do. And the only thing she told me, I remember, was, in this world, after God is money.
That was very blunt.
Yes, and it's true. People even go for money rituals. They use their organs, their private organs, to go for money rituals, just to take care of their family. You understand? Everybody works for money. Although I'm dedicated to the game, I'm always focused. Despite everything, money is also important. When you work, you get paid. Nobody will say, if you bring a deal and the deal is good, you will say you reject it. You know, I'm not being hypocrite. I'm being real in this program right now. And I saw the contract, everything was good. And that was why I tried to consult people.
Before you made the final decision.
Before I made a final decision. And everything was positive for me. And so it became a very challenge to me. Leaving the best league in the world, going to UAE. It was... So after I signed, I wept. I was like, did I sign? You know, that was the question that I was asking. And I'll be like, I was like, so let's wait the news. Let's wait for the news.
Because you knew it was coming.
Yes, let's wait for the news in the next couple of days. And then, wow, I was like, whoa, the news are coming here and there. Now he's done. He cannot be. And me moving to the UAE, my scoring ratio with the Black Stars improved when I moved to the UAE. So me moving there, I didn't regret at all.
People say that you paved the way for a lot of other players to enter UAE. On hindsight, do you feel that you sort of were like the proverbial Moses, more or less, leading the rest of the world into UAE? Because
for me, what I think, people were not bold enough. People wanted to. There were a lot of great players who were texting me to come there.
I see.
You know, but me, I wasn't that hypocrite. I did what was good for me. You know, but people, they just be behind. But you understand? That is that. But me, I would just step up and do it. And even now, some people come to me and there are a lot of old players and people come to me and they tell me, listen, you did the right decision. You made the right decision. And that was what I would say. I don't regret it. And since moving there, I've done a lot of things in Ghana. Talking about my foundation, helping people here and there. Sometimes people will say, oh, I need this. I was like, send me a call and someone I'm with.
Right.
This. You understand? So that is what I always say. I've done a lot of things and I don't regret it. And the kind of taxes that I pay every year in this country, I think my manager can say a lot, because I'm also paying tax with my company and everything, and the kind of money that I put in the community or in the economy.
Yeah.
I'm proud of myself. I think I've done well for myself. You know, when I sit down and assess from 2003 till now and still going, I think I always thank God. I always thank God for my life.
Asamoah Gyan always thanks God for his life. We'll be coming to your questions in just a bit, but Asamoah, do you have any regrets in your career? Anything you wish you could have done differently?
Everything happens for a reason. You know, everything happens for a reason. Sometimes we footballers have a very, very short career. You know, we have a very short career, and I won't say I regret, because everything that happens in life, I think God knows the reason why. You understand? As I'm talking to you right now, I think everybody knows, and we, the footballers, know. The economy, the football, people are not spending that much like before, and people knows it, except China. And when I moved to China, that was when people realized people can move to China. You know, there were a lot of criticisms again. People said I was going to act Chinese movie.
I can see that one. It didn't go that very well with you.
You understand? Yo, it was a bit funny because I knew I would win. People were saying I went to act Chinese film. The following, after 6 months, a player from Chelsea, Ramirez, who won the Champions League, he moved there. Now Tevez is there. Oscar is there. Pele, Italian top striker, is there right now. You know, so at the end of the day, people will talk, but I will win because I know. And that is what we're seeing right now. So are those people acting Chinese movie there?
You know, I this is an aside. I just want to know, like, if they give you like a role, would you have played it?
Chinese movie. we used to watch it at that time, 12:30. 12:30 Chinese movie. Yeah, Chinese. I love watching Chinese movie though.
Would you have acted?
Yeah, but when I went there, I wanted to see the monkey, you know, the Journey to the West monkey. Yeah, and I got that.
You got a chance to meet him.
I got a chance to meet him. I was so happy.
The people love you there. Like, how was they adapting to China?
Yeah, I remember, if you've watched this Gladiator, the movie Gladiator, I learned something in that movie. Like, anywhere you go, you have to win the fans. Just win the fans. So I remember when I went there, my first game, I was on a bench. We were losing by 1-0. I came on in the second half, created a penalty, and I scored the winning goal. That was my first game. You know, and the people started liking me, so I had to just continue. So I did what I could till the injuries started. You know, so after the injuries, I wasn't that consistent. You know, anytime they needed me, I wasn't around. So they had to make a decision to bring Hawk to replace me, and that was when I had to go on loan. And I do accept their decision because I was the target man there, and anytime they needed me, I wasn't around. So they made a good decision by replacing me with Hawk, and then I went on loan. So talking about the love, yeah, people love me, but it was just the situation that made me leave China.
Of all the leagues across the world, which one do you feel like you should have played in, or you should have stayed with, of all the leagues?
England. I would say England. You know, but I made a decision. I think I took a bold decision, and I won't say I've regretted, because when I went to UAE, I was the top scorer there on 3 consecutive occasions. I won the Asian Footballer of the Year. I won the Asian Goal King of the Year. So there were a lot of things I did in UAE. But people always say, why didn't you stay in the EPL? You know, and yes, they might be right, but at the end of the day, I've benefited in the decision I made, because at the end of the day, we've got very, very short career.
Yeah.
Very, very short career. And as I always say, at the end of the day, nobody will pay my bills.
Yeah.
I cannot go to somebody's shop and I was like, give me Komi, give me Kenke for free. They will slap you. I need to pay my bills. You understand? People will slap you. So that is what, at the end of the day, I'll be with my family. I have to take care of my family. And if you don't have the money, how can you take care of it?
I have some 2 questions I'll be asking you, but let me just get some of the messages from our listeners. 2 questions. Who was the best player you've ever played with? And when you hand over the armband, the national, the captaincy of the Black Stars, what legacy do you feel that you've left for the Black Stars? I want you to think about that. I'll just be getting a few of the comments from the people. So, Phil, please tell Asamoah I love him so much. Trust me, we love him more than you. Congratulations to Asamoah Gyan. Akraka. All Bleobi is proud of you. Shout outs to the 2002 year group of Accra Academy that's coming from Kwesi Bello. Asamoah Gyan, would you fancy a move to the Barclays Premier League this season? Considering what he said, he says he would absolutely love the idea. Asamoah, don't ever trust the media, not even those interviewing you and laughing with you. They will stab you in the back when you least expect it. That's coming from
that is true. That is true. Yeah. I believe him.
Well, more messages coming through. I want to ask Asamoah Gyan how he felt when Lionel Messi praised him for the technique he used in scoring the goal against Germany. That's coming also from Alvin in East Legon. If you answer that, he says, how did you feel about that?
I think I've scored a couple of goals around that area, that position where I scored against Germany. I used to practice it in training. When I get the ball from the right side of the box, I shoot it with the instep foot. It's something that I trained a lot. I've scored a couple of goals. I think against Egypt in Kumasi, I scored a goal similar like that. I think against Lyon, when I was playing in France, I've scored a couple of goals. So the goalkeepers know, like when I get the ball around that area, that side,
I mean, like it will
be difficult for them.
Malaria good.
A legend like Messi acknowledging me, I think I'm honored. It's not that easy for a world best player to acknowledge what you're doing. So I really, really appreciate it.
All right. Congratulations to Asamoah Gyan. Here's a shout to him for your hard work and being able to get to where you are today. You're an inspiration to hundreds and thousands. Keep it up. That's coming from Alan on Sphinx Road. Which church does Asamoah Gyan attend? That's coming from Maxwell in Gulf City.
I was baptized in a Methodist.
I see.
Yeah.
So you're still a Methodist?
Methodist, yeah. But, me becoming Asamoah Gyan, a lot of people try to invite me to their churches, and sometimes I do go to churches, different churches, because at the end of the day, it's only one God that we serve.
That's true.
So sometimes my father, let's go to Methodist. I just tell him, don't worry, we'll go. So I try to attend people's church, and I even go and
pay the invitation.
Even sing sometimes. Church.
Oh yes, kids. Asamoah, do you regret not playing in the Champions League, since that is the wish of virtually every player, and that's coming from Kojata?
Yeah. And but I'm okay with where my career has been to. Although I'm not done with my career, but I'm happy with what I've done so far.
Congratulations, Asamoah. You've made a nation proud. That's coming from Mama Rita. How do you combine music and football? Do you still do music?
Yeah, I still do music, but since my friend got lost, Castro, I decided to just stay back a bit, because we had a lot of hit songs that was coming up, and the incident happened, so I decided to, but I always sing because I've got a band, so sometimes I do organize the boys, and then when they don't have gigs, I just call them, hey, come on, let's do something, and then they play the live band. I like to sing gospel a lot, so they play and I sing gospel, and then I just...
Not to take you back into a very bad moment in your life, but just, I can't let you go without asking you this. How did you take the passing of Castro?
We cannot confirm it right now because the body has not been found. Has not been found. But we were there and we knew what happened. So we're just waiting for the traditional thing, because the traditional, they said they wait for after 7 years before they can declare you. So I do miss him a lot. Every time they play his song or sometimes when we're cracking jokes, we do ask ourselves, hey, we wish this guy was here, and we do miss him a lot.
Patrick K. Amoah says, I would like to use your platform to congratulate Asamoah Gyan on his 50th goal for the national team. He should stay focused and continue with what he's doing for Mother Ghana. Caleb in Adabraka says, my question to Asamoah Gyan is, what is his biggest regret in playing for the Black Stars?
My biggest regret was in 2008. I shouldn't have played. I shouldn't have played in that tournament because I wasn't feeling good. I was injured, but I wanted to sacrifice for the nation because I was one of the important players in the team, so I just had to sacrifice, and at the end of the day I was, oh my God. People have criticized me, but that year I was like, it was so unfair. So I'll say it was my regret because I was warned not to come. Even, I forgot to tell you, even that year I was about to sign for Manchester City with Goran Eriksson. So Eriksson was the one who took me to China. He was the one who signed me in the Chinese team.
Yes.
He told me, hey, I needed you in 2008 and you got injured. So when I got injured, that was when they signed Emmanuel Adebayo, because I was the number 1 on the list. So I remember my agent told me, don't go to the African Cup of Nations. Make sure you're okay, then we can go sign the contract. And I said, hey, let me go. Big this African, and we were hosting it at that time. So I had to just come and then play, and then I put my life, my work down to come and play for the country, and then at the end of the day I was the worst player in that tournament, but every time I just go back and then I don't accept it. I just go back and see that clip. I didn't do anything wrong. I was even doing my best in that game. It's not like I played very bad, although the ball wasn't going to the net, but I played extremely well. And I couldn't go to Manchester City because of the 2008.
That's incredible.
I remember the third place. I didn't know at that time. Didier was a big fan. So the third place, he called me and was like, you are the best? And I was like, thank you. And he was like, don't listen to what people are saying. You are young. Just focus on your career, and I do like your style of play. Wow. That was the first time I spoke to Didier Drogba in person.
Wow. Well, we have just a few minutes to the end of the show. We're having an exclusive conversation with Asamoah Gyan Baby Jet, the captain of the Black Stars. And we are live on Facebook as well. So for those of you who are watching, or those of you who don't know, you can log on to Citi FM's Facebook page and catch a glimpse of that as well. So 2 questions that I wanted you to address before you took leave of us. First of all, who is the greatest player for you? Who's the best player you have played with? If you had a chance to name one player out of the lot
that I've played with.
Yes, that you've played with.
That I've played with.
Yes.
Hi. Michael Essien. A great midfielder. He's one of the. At that time, he was my best midfielder in the world, and I think Ghana forget so soon. That guy. When we all know it. I think I cannot say anything again. I think he's my best player I've ever played with. Strong guy. He makes sure he detects the midfield. He doesn't lose too many balls. He does what he has to do. He runs. Strong. Essien.
Wow, that's a big call. That's a very, very, very big call. But then, I mean, absolutely, I agree with you. Now, when you finally say goodbye to the Black Stars, when you finally hang up your boots for the national team,
I know it.
What legacy would you want to have left for the team?
I want to win the African Cup. That's the only thing I want right now. Nothing else. I just want to win the African Cup, and after we will decide on what to do. But I know when to quit.
That's interesting.
I know.
So do you feel that the next African Cup of Nations, Ghana is going to win?
We started on a good note. You know, we won against Ethiopia by 5-0. I think we started on a good note, so we just praying to the Almighty God. We continue doing what we just started, and then we will make sure we qualify, and then we see what happens.
The current Black Star setup, the current team, Ethiopia is back. What's the vibe in the team?
I think we beginning to get spirit back. You know, the Kumasi fans started it, because when we went to Kumasi, we were a bit in doubt, like the stadium was gonna be full, or are they coming or not. But it started from our friendly game we played on Thursday. You know, half of the stadium, like that side, the VIP side, were full. So that was where we had the confidence. Okay, on Sunday it's gonna be good. You know, so during the warm up, the stadium was full, and we were even surprised. We were like, oh my God, now the spirit is coming back, and it really played an important role in this victory. You know, so I would like to thank the fans for what they've done, and I think the spirit is coming back. You know, the love for from the people is coming back, because when people lose that love in you, it affects. It's like it's a connection. You know, so we can feel the love coming back. You know, so I thank the fans, and I think the young players who also came also delivered. You know, so everything was going on well.
I have a few questions. These are very quick questions. Between Messi and Ronaldo,
Messi is gifted. Messi is gifted, and Ronaldo is hardworking. He works hard to get it. So that is the difference. Messi is a gift from God. He can just sit down for 1 month and play. And for me, somebody like Ronaldo, he needs to be working every day, because it has been part of him. And for me, he works so hard to achieve. And I think mentally he's also strong. I haven't been closer to him, but that is what I see. He's very strong mentally, because that time Messi was being emerged as Ballon d'Or for the 5 consecutive time. People were like, oh, he's done. But now it's Ronaldo all the way. He's working so hard, and he's doing consistent job every time. Like, he's been more consistent. But talking about the two of them, Messi is gifted, and he's hardworking.
Pele and Maradona.
The same.
Same thing.
Same thing. Maradona, gifted.
Pele works hard.
Pele works hard. Pele scores a lot of goals. But in terms of the play, I didn't watch him that well. I didn't watch Maradona, but seeing the clips, you could see this one is gifted, and then this one was scoring goals. He was doing the striker's job. But they've got their era. You know, you cannot compare. But I would say Maradona was ahead.
Who is your African soccer mentor? If the African soccer players that you've encountered, you've met, which one of them do you sort of look up to?
George Weah.
George Weah.
George Weah. Because he was the only African player who won the Ballon d'Or. You know, he retired and people don't recognize him. That was what I was talking. That was what I was talking about. He's not a politician. That was why people recognize him. If not, people wouldn't have recognized him. He is the only African player who won the Ballon d'Or. And I don't think people should forget this. The only African player who won the Ballon d'Or. That year, he won the best player who was playing Europe in 1995. He won the African Football of the Year. He won the Ballon d'Or in the same year. So, I don't think this kind of player should be forgotten. And he has been my legend, the African legend of all time, my player.
Even as we say goodbye to you, and thank you so much for joining us on Traffic Avenue, what is your message to Ghanaians? I
would like to thank the whole of Ghana for their support, for the Black Stars, for me since day one. You know, I'd like to thank the press, the journalists, everybody. You know, criticisms, sometimes some criticisms can be good. You know, it made me a man, you know. And that is all I can say. I'd like to thank my family for their prayers. Throughout the injuries they've been they've been with me since day one, and I would like to thank everybody. You know, whether you like me or hate me, you must watch me. I took that quote from Floyd Mayweather.
And we are taking it from you.
Definitely.
We're taking it from you. Thank you so much, Asamoah Gyan, for joining us in the studio. It has been such a pleasure having you. And congratulations once again.
Thank you.